not talk. Speech. Speak. What are you speaking that's intelligent and focused? The L. Learn how to listen. Not to hear, but to listen. So you really hear what the other people are saying and you're reacting to it instead of, it makes an impression on you. The O basically is observe. Don't see, just observe. So that you look at that, look deeper. And the W is what you write, how you write it. Now, that's something I've adopted. And I said, wait a minute, I am terrible, deficient when it comes to listening. The reason that is...
I know. I know.
Yeah. The reason is that having seen so much and done so much, I already know what you're going to say. So I said, why waste the time of having you say it when I already know what you're going to say? So now I basically cut you off before you say it. And somebody said, well, you never gave me a chance to say that.
I know.
Yeah, so you know.
I know.
Yeah. So just the point they're making, very simple, is that when you're dealing with experts, you can get a lot of information, which is very helpful when you don't basically think it's going to be.
George, how important is coaching and mentoring in today's marketplace for people? I mean, I have 5,
I think,
including you, and Raymond's got 4 because he doesn't have you.
I think it's very important because what has happened of recent vintage is that deals have gotten much more complex. The things take place that didn't take place, that weren't there before. For example, how do you make a deal? Banks don't want to make loans. And you're dealing in an environment, they got plenty of money. If you don't think so, just put money in your bank account and see what they pay you in interest. If there's very little, under 1% or what have you. But they don't want to make loans. And the reason they don't want to make loans is they're nervous. And the only reason they're nervous is because of everything that happened over the past. So now you're dealing with an entirely different arena as far as bankers are concerned. You're coming into somebody who is in a business but doesn't want to do business. And the same thing you have with all the short sales and you have with everything else and reevaluating. Now you got the government involved in reducing the mortgage and now Fannie Mae and Sallie coming back. It's a whole new world. And only something which you really need a lot of expert help to go through the particular minefield, which is changing on a daily basis. Previously, when I started out, real estate was easy. You bought a deed, you got a deed, and you sold property. That's all. You got a mortgage. That was the end of it. Ain't that way anymore. Whoever heard of something, a house being underwater? I mean, to me, it was underwater. It was a flood. It was never a situation where the house isn't worth what the amount of the mortgage is, but they still have liability on the part of the borrower. So it's a whole different world. I highly recommend if you take place, there's an opportunity to take place where there is real coaching.
It is really the difference between success and failure. I mean, Raymond and I were with Nito, our coach. That's the difference. And sometimes people surround themselves with what I call like know-it-alls. They're around people that the illusion that you think they know what they're talking about, but are they really doing it? How much they're doing it? At the end of the day, you pay for what you get. My other mistake is that I got some coaching that wasn't up to par, and it gave me a horrible taste in my mouth. And so the first time I got high-level coaching, the first coaching session was how much I lost because I didn't have the right coaching. And it really did cost me a lot. I was penny wise and dollar foolish. And then I got coaching, and then I became unstoppable. Really, I 234% growth. I was on fire, growing. And then the problem is that I was coached on transformational coaching, big picture, marketing, branding, positioning, growth, transaction. And then I didn't get coaching on how to effectively protect myself financially, how to grow my wealth without me, how to make sure that I can, maximize every tools there is to do, and financially with legally tax shelters and maximization. And I sat down with a coach and all my team, and I sat down and then it went over with all the money I lost because I didn't do that. And the lesson in my life has been when I have not had the right coach and mentor, that it has cost me. I've retained George as to be one of my coaches and mentors as well, and because I'm intrigued. I mean, he was with Donald when he was 27, I'm 31, so I said to myself, and he's been with him for 40 odd years, so I figured there's something to this here. How do you go through the motions? And George said to me the first thing he says, you have to have balance because you have to burn yourself up. For those of you who have my coaching CDs where I'm being coached by my coach, it's a concern that I have. Now, I love what I do, but it's You know, it's a lot of work. I mean, Raymond knows, and Raymond works just as hard as me, which is maybe why we get along so well, is because we both feel we add something different to the table. But when it comes down to your life, and you truly want to be successful and live the life you want, don't be penny wise and dollar foolish. That's the worst thing you could do. You have to invest in the greatest asset you will ever invest in, and that is yourself. So if you're saying, I don't need it, we all need, no matter how successful you are. Every single person.
What I want to